Thanks for joining me again today. We're looking at number 24 in the Melodious Etudes for Trumpet book. This is an interesting one because it's quite slow. I'm going to play it at the metronome marking, or try to. It does not feel natural for me at that tempo, and it takes a little while to get through at that tempo. And I think that, and it says andante cantabile. To me, andante is basically a strolling tempo. It's comfortably going. It's not in a hurry and it's not lagging. It's just strolling. But when I play this at 58 to the 8th note, it feels very slow to me. So it's not natural. Now, as a soloist, you get to choose, but I'm going to choose this time in order to play it for the discipline of playing that and just sustaining sound, which is a big part of what we're doing here. I hope I can stay with the music as I do this. It's going to be a challenge. Okay, here we go. I guess you could say that's a sad song. No words. It's not programmatic music. We don't know what the story is. It sounds like an aria from an opera. Very mournful, lament, you might say. So what can we learn from this? That's always a good question when you're working on this, on these kinds of challenging tunes. Line keeping the line going when we're playing slower is more difficult. And I hope you heard some of the things that I was doing. Of course, I'm playing the trumpet, so I'm being mindful of, you know, staying in balance and keeping the physical control and trying to play relatively in tune and, you know, maintaining the quality level of what I'm doing. And that's a lot of processing that's going on in your brain when you do that. But hopefully some of the music came through. I work very hard, and I want to encourage you to do so, to try and continue to develop the level of skill with simply playing, sustaining sound, for example. As you change dynamics, as you move up and down through the range, as you do various technical things with the articulation. So sustaining sound with a sense of balance and control, so you're free from only paying attention to that, but you can concentrate on the music. I want you to also notice in the middle it said poco più mosso, a little more motion. So I let myself go back to what I felt was a more normal tempo for this piece. Now I want to play just one section, and you have to look at the instructions in the music. There's a place in the middle, it's around bar 36, where it says rallentando. And rallentando means, the way I think of it is basically rolling to a stop. That's the way I remember it. Rallentando. So it's like you take a billiard ball and you just give it a very light touch and send it across the table, and before it gets to the other side, it stops moving. So that feeling is totally organic. Now in music, you might have something that happens like that, or it might lose momentum, start to come to a stop, and then as if it's going downhill a little bit, start to pick it up again. And these timing things are very, very important for expression. And they're totally open to your artistic interpretation. So a great way to work on these things is play, listen, record yourself and listen. Match that to your musical idea, what you imagine you would like it to sound like, what you'd like it to sound like. And also you can imagine what, if you can keep in your mind, if you're imagining like a great trumpet player, somebody that you really, really admire. I have a couple in mind, I'm not going to name them right now, maybe later on, whose playing I think is just absolutely exemplary, both musically and physically on the instrument. And so I'm imagining what it would sound like with them playing it. Then I imagine it with my own interpretation. So you see, this is an artistic process. In order to get the artistry, you have to have the physical, technical control. And it's for the artistry that I work on the physical, technical control. So let's try a little bit of this again. There's a couple of spots. This is one is bar 36. I'll start at 34. So in that section, it's a little bit cadenza-like. I could do it a number of ways. When I'm practicing, if I were preparing this for a performance, oops, I guess this is a performance, but if I were preparing it to like play in a recital or something like that, then I would try it a lot of different ways. I might just put the recorder on and let it run, and then I would listen to various things and take notes and say, oh yeah, that really worked for me. So again, it's very personal, and to me, that's what the fun is all about. Now, there's another section which I want to speak about, and then I'll let you put some of these things into practice. The whole piece is marked piano. So for a vocalist, as I've mentioned before, you just you're always trying to let a ring, a resonance, a focus, projection come into the sound. And it's the same way when you're playing a wind instrument, especially the brass instruments. It's a unique quality of sound, the ring, like a bell that's ringing continuously. And it can change color. Normally when the voice gets louder, it changes color. So it's natural for that to happen. I don't want to get too picky about this. I'm just going to play a little section. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to start in bar 47. And it's piano through most of the piece, and then there are a couple spots where it goes to forte. So here's what happens. Now, I've got to decide where to start here. I'm going to back up a little bit. So in a spot like this, what I find challenging is most of us grow up playing in band programs. We're playing in large ensembles. We might have some chamber music experience with like, brass quintet or brass trio, something like that. But most of the time those dynamics are group dynamics. So the conductor is balancing the whole large ensemble. And here, again, you got to think of these as vocal dynamics. So what's happening? It helps me to imagine the drama. What is the person feeling who is singing this in the opera, for example? And I don't know if I did that very convincingly. I'm going to try it once again. The soft stuff, transitioning into the loud parts, that's where trumpet players can go back into, kind of pushing and pulling back to play soft and pushing to play loud. So think in terms of the voice. Experiment with it. See what you can do. I'll try and give you an example. So it's very, very easy. You want color change, but it's very easy to start pressing the sound when we play louder, and then kind of squeezing or choking the sound when we play soft. So just listen for that when you're practicing. That will be tremendously helpful. Become more sensitive to the quality of the sound as you change the dynamics. I think that's probably enough for today. And I hope you're doing well where you are, and I look forward to seeing you again as soon as you're interested. Have a good day. Bye-bye.